Okay, Sarah, I get why test planning is important, but wow, it's like planning a wedding.
You're not wrong. Both have a set goal, a timeline, and a high risk of things going wrong.
Okay, Sarah, I get why test planning is important. It keeps us from running around like headless chickens. But wow, there's so much to consider. Objectives, risks, resources, schedules. It's like planning a wedding.
You're not wrong. In fact, a test plan and a wedding plan aren't that different. Both have a set goal, a timeline, stakeholders with different expectations, and a high risk of things going wrong if you don't plan properly.
I'll be sure to hire a test manager for my wedding one day.
Smart move. Speaking of which, you do any planning in your personal life?
Not really. I'm more of a go-with-the-flow kind of guy. Why?
Well, remember last week when you tried cooking for your date?
Don't remind me. I thought making homemade pasta would be impressive. Turns out flour gets everywhere, and I may have slightly undercooked the noodles.
That, my friend, is what we call a lack of proper planning.
I get it. So, a test plan is like having a good recipe. List your ingredients, prep your workspace, follow a structured process, and have a backup in case things go wrong.
Exactly. And just like you needed a backup meal that night, a test plan includes risk management. What do we do if the test environment crashes? What if key team members are unavailable?
Gotcha. So, a test plan doesn't just help testers, it keeps the whole project from turning into a disaster.
Exactly. And speaking of planning, let's talk about iteration and release planning.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that release planning looks at the big picture, while iteration planning focuses on one sprint at a time, right?
Bingo! Think of release planning like planning a road trip. You decide the major stops, estimated arrival times, and budget. Iteration planning is like deciding what snacks to pack and which songs to add to your playlist for each leg of the journey.
So testers help with both, right?
Yep. In release planning, testers work with developers to define testable user stories and acceptance criteria. In iteration planning, we break down stories into specific testing tasks and estimate test effort.
Oh, that reminds me, estimation techniques. Those were kind of cool. The wideband Delphi one was my favorite.
Because of the planning poker aspect?
Totally. Feels like playing a game, except instead of winning points, you win accurate test effort estimates.
But remember, estimation isn't perfect. It's always based on assumptions and past data.
So it's like predicting how long it'll take me to clean my apartment before my mom visits.
Exactly. If you know it usually takes 2 hours, but last time it took 3 because of unexpected laundry, you can factor that into your estimate.
I like this real-world application. Speaking of real life, what's the deal with entry and exit criteria?
Think of entry criteria like setting the right conditions before starting something. You wouldn't start baking a cake without all the ingredients, right?
Unless you're me.
And the exit criteria is knowing when you're done, like checking if the cake is golden brown and passes the toothpick test before taking it out of the oven.
But sometimes, even if it's not perfect, you have to take it out, like if the guests are already at the table.
Exactly. In software, sometimes we ship a product even if not all test cases are executed because of time or budget constraints. But stakeholders have to accept the risks.
Makes sense. Now tell me about test case prioritization.
Oh, it is. You can prioritize based on risk, coverage, or requirement importance.
So, if I had to clean my apartment again, risk-based prioritization would mean tackling the messiest areas first.
Yep, high-risk areas first, just like in software testing.
What about the test pyramid?
Ah, the pyramid. It tells us to focus more on low-level tests like unit tests because they're fast, reliable, and cheaper. UI tests are at the top because they're expensive and slow, so we use them sparingly.
So it's like building a house, start with a solid foundation, unit tests, then add structure, integration tests, and finish with the roof and decorations, UI tests.
Exactly. And then we have testing quadrants, which categorize tests based on whether they're business-facing or technology-facing, and whether they support the team or critique the product.
Whew! That's a lot to take in. But you know what? I actually see how all of this connects to real life.
That's the magic of testing. It's not just about software, it's a mindset.
Speaking of mindsets, I think mine is changing. Maybe I should start planning things better.
Progress. Now, about that next date, do you have a test plan?
I'll start by making sure I actually have all the ingredients before I cook this time. So, risk mitigation is like having a fire extinguisher ready before the fire happens.
Exactly. We prepare in advance to reduce damage if something goes wrong.
Testtactix, upskill, innovate, succeed. Want to succeed in your QA journey? Subscribe for more engaging videos like this and take your QA skills to the next level.